This is an urgent appeal from the Disasters Emergency Committee. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled their homes to escape conflict in Ukraine, leaving jobs, belongings and loved ones behind. They need shelter, food and water. You can help. To donate online, search DEC or text radio to 70150 to give £10. Thank you.
Streaming 24/7, this is Brum Radio.
Thank you for downloading this Brum Radio podcast. For more podcasts, visit brumradio.com.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Brum Radio. I'm Dave Massey. I'm joined on the telephone by Gabriel Paul, who is Trevor in the play that goes wrong, which is Birmingham Hippodrome, all this week from the 26th to the 30th of October. And this is from Mischief Comedy. Good afternoon, Gabriel. How are you doing?
Hi, Dave. I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm all right. It's Friday as we're recording this, and the weather's been tipping it down all week. But I'm very glad to be recording with you. Are you down in Tunbridge Wells at the moment?
Yeah, that's right. I'm down in sunny Tunbridge Wells.
And have you been there before?
No, I haven't been with the show. But no, it's always nice. This is the last venue on this current tour that I haven't been on previously. So yeah, it's a great little theatre. And
as this interview is going out, as I'm saying, you're back in Birmingham for this production, which is, as I say, from the 26th to the 30th. You did your acting training here in Birmingham, which is what's now is called the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire at Birmingham City University. How does it feel to be coming back to somewhere that you probably know a lot better than Tunbridge Wells?
It's great. It's always nice because I lived in Birmingham for 7 years.
Wow.
I finished training. I stayed there for a few years as well. So it is like a second home for me. So it's always nice going back to because I'm from Yorkshire originally. Going up north or even going to Birmingham, it does feel like going home. And the audiences, especially in Birmingham, are really, really responsive. They're really great to play to.
And do you think there's a point in because Trevor is I'm going to say technician, but he's probably got a proper title.
He's a sound and lighting, technician. Really, you can't really call him a designer because Chris being the director,
yes,
the designer. And
do you think there's a point where the audience suddenly realise that you're one of the characters in the show?
I think it's sometimes we can get through the whole show and people will still be thinking, was Trevor part of the show? It's the technician that got roped into it. So I think that's the beauty of this show because it breaks the fourth wall so much and people aren't sure if the things going wrong are meant to go wrong or if people, like including myself or Anna, the stage manager, are they meant to be involved in the show? So it keeps people guessing and I think that's one of the strengths.
But I'd said to you before we were recording this that I've seen this show 4 times already, and that's pretty funny for me to see it because it gets funnier each time you see it. Did you have a first experience of seeing it on stage, or were you in it first of all?
Yeah, I was in it first of all. To be honest, I didn't know much about the play before I went for the audition. And it wasn't until I was travelling down for the audition and I read up on it and I realised what a big worldwide hit it had become. That's when I started getting a little bit nervous about the audition,
And for lots of people, so the first ever time I wrote the review was very difficult because it's a play within a play, and it's the Murder of Havisham Hall is the play that's put on. I'm sure, hopefully I've said that right. That was Murder at Havisham Hall.
It's all right. I didn't want to correct you. It's the Murder at Havisham Manor.
That's the only thing I haven't written down on my notes for that. The Murder at Havisham Manor. And for people that don't know that in particular, it's sort of like the Mousetrap.
A lot of the old Agatha Christie murder mysteries. So it pulls on a lot of those kind of plays and films and books and stories.
And have you got a particular favourite part of the play that goes wrong? Because obviously your role within the show gets bigger as it goes through the show.
Yes. I do have many favourite. I mean, because I've been involved with the show now nearly 4 years, And as my character, I've managed to watch the show nearly 700 times now.
That's amazing.
It can still feel fresh, dependent on the audience reaction. When I hear the audience getting certain enjoyment out of certain bits, then that entertains me as well. So there are lots of great stuff. I would say that Trevor's my favourite character. He does the best bits. So anything to do with Trevor. But no, honestly, I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
No.
But there are lots of highlights within the show. It's a very stunt-heavy show.
Yes.
And there's just brilliant writing and great performances as well that'll really entertain everybody from the age of 8 up until 85 or beyond.
How do you feel it about Mischief Theatre in general, bringing what's really to me quite intelligent productions disguised in such a fun way to a mainstream audience? How do you feel about that?
I think what the boys have done, Jonathan Sayer, Henry Lewis and Henry Shields, who were the originators of Mischief, I think what they've done is it just tapped into that old British kind of sense of humour.
Mm-hmm.
The Fawlty Towers, the great British sitcoms back in the 70s. And I think what they've done is they've kind of contemporised it and made it more accessible to a modern audience, but they're still harking back to those traditions. And I think the slapstick is quite heavy on the slapstick, and I think that's a great British tradition. And I think seeing people getting hit in the face never gets old, really.
One of the things that happens in the show that I'm gonna say to people happens is there's a moment where the book gets lost, and the audience has a line to shout out, and I was sat there in the Hippodrome knowing that nobody else knew what this line was, and I waited until the absolute last second, and because it was like my third or fourth time seeing it, the reaction from I'm sure, is it Chris's character? It's not Chris's character on stage. I'm trying to think what character it is.
Yeah, because it is quite confusing because we are playing actors.
Yes.
Apart from my role where I just play Trevor Watson, they are playing actors who are playing the characters in the Murder Ambition.
Absolutely, and I left it as long as possible, and the reaction I got from the actor on stage was just tremendous because he realised that I had left it even longer before I shouted out. And you could just hear, because the Hippodrome's such a huge theatre, you could just hear my little voice just projecting out through the theatre, shouting this line out. And I could just see how furious his character had become, because he really started to thrash at the sofa, and I'd never seen that happen before. And it really made me jump doing it. But it's brilliant that the interpretations can come out in such different ways. Is it very often that you get characters, new actors join the cast? Do they stay through the whole tour, or might they change through the tour?
No. When we join together as a company, that will be the company for the whole tour. This is my second tour.
Yes.
So this is the fourth overall, and I was involved in the third. So most of the actors I'm working with this time are, totally different to the ones I was working with last time. Although everybody in the current cast has been involved with the play at some point over its past 7 years.
Wow. And that must be a brilliant feeling to have such an assured cast around you doing that as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I suppose I'm one of the veterans of the cast. There's myself and another Birmingham resident, Ed Howells, who plays Perkins, who've both done a year on tour and including the West End. And then there is Len Cook, who plays Robert Grove, who was originally one of the understudies for the original cast back in 2012. So there's a lot of experience, and everybody in the cast has been involved with a Mischief show, whether it's been Peter Pan Goes Wrong, or a Christmas Carol goes wrong, or Magic goes wrong. There's been so much, so they've been able to draw from so many different experiences. And, it's a real joy to be working with these people. Yeah.
Fantastic, Gabriel. I hope you have a fantastic time back in Birmingham while you're here this week. The Play That Goes Wrong is on from the 26th to the 30th of October at Birmingham Hippodrome. You can get tickets at birminghamhippodrome.com, and you can check out the production at mischiefcomedy.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today.
Hey, it's been my pleasure. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you for listening to this Brum Radio podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on your podcast app.